council tax has ended up much more regressive than it was when it started, because they haven't revalued the bands. And of course, it's paid by renters. So you've got people on relatively low incomes in quite low value properties paying council tax. And then you've got people whose properties are worth a hell of a lot, whose council tax is not that high. So yeah, I do think that the upper bands, there's a massive gap in the upper bands now where you could raise more on high value properties. Again, I fully understand there's a problem of people who may be asset rich and cash poor. And I do think for people in those circumstances, you may need some kind of arrangements, if it really got serious, of a kind of charge on the estate, again, rather than expecting them necessarily to write in a cheque per year. But yeah, council tax is too hard on low value properties and very lax on high value properties.
I think as soon as people hear council tax, they think, oh, my 3-bed semi-detached is the council tax go up. But that's probably not what we're speaking about. And unfortunately, when taxes go up, someone is losing, because it's the nature of somebody's got money's got to come, hasn't it? But it's these houses that are 10 million plus, 20 million, or things in Mayfair that no one even lives in, and people are paying like 400 quid a month or 300 quid a month in council taix, whereas their staff bill is 200 grand a year. You know?
And the thing I notice, I cycle around, and when I'm cycling home from Westminster, you're going through you're absolutely right, those kind of blocks of flats that are very high value. What always shocks me is how few lights.
They're empty. Yeah, they're just places to park cash. And these people have got a house in New York, in Dubai, in London. And if you said to them the council tax is 200 grand a year, they'll pay it. Yeah, because they're not buying the house to live in it. They're buying it to park cash in countries. You know, so.
And you notice it. There's a security guard or someone in the reception, and there's not much light on the bar. So yeah, I do think that that's an area where you can we can look at reform, because overall, what has happened, as even though property, the value of assets, has increased to 7 times national income from 3 times, the amount that we collect in tax on capital has not increased by the same amount. Now, it's difficult, and you've got to be very careful, but that's we should. I think we've probably got the balance between taxing earnings and income relative to taxing assets. We haven't got it quite right. I don't believe in an overall wealth tax. I don't think we've got a national register of everybody's individual wealth. But when there are specific things like houses and council tax, that's where we can tighten up.
I just want to point out for the listeners, you're part of the Conservative Party, aren't you?
I am indeed. I take the Tory whip in the House of Lords.
I can just imagine the comments being like, "Oh, he's left and all that." I mean, people. I think that's important context that you sit on that side of the political spectrum. And look, then Torsten is now obviously in Labour. So.
And Resolution was a cross-party think tank. Torsten had links to the Labour Party. I had links to the Conservative Party. But the way I say it to my Conservative friends is Conservatives believe in a property-owning democracy. We believe in spreading home ownership, and that's both council house sales and the privatised shares were examples of that. We need similarly imaginative thinking to spread property ownership to the younger generation now. So I don't see this as a particularly sort of issue with a party divide. I think any serious political party should follow the overwhelming evidence that the younger people are having a raw deal and try to do something about it. And to be honest, if different political parties are competing with rival ideas about what to do to help young people, that would be fine by me.
What do you think the political appetite, or do they even understand this problem? Are they looking to tackle it in a meaningful sense?
Yeah, I think there is a recognition. And look, there's several things happening. One is younger people just aren't voting the way that they used to, and that's partly because politicians aren't engaging with them and offering. It's also partly because it's so hard to register to vote if you're moving around in private rented accommodation. And look, if you're sitting in the Conservative Party, you can see that the Conservative vote is heavily concentrated amongst people over 60. And the Conservative Party has been around for 200 years, and it'd be quite good if it could carry on as a centre-right political party. So it's got to have something to offer to people of working age and younger people.
That was a clip from our full-length conversation with Lord David Willits. He's the president of the Resolution Foundation. You can watch the full interview right here.